The Dodgers on the brink of making their bullpen even stronger. There's now mutual interest between the Dodgers and the top reliever that's currently available in the free agent market. I'm here to tell you all about it. Also, a rapper talking trash about our best player. We get into all that in this edition of Dodgers Digest. Hey, this is Mike Nelson. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the 21% of the ones that who are watching these videos who've already hit the sub button, but 78% of you have not subscribed yet. You know, myself, Brad, Jay, we're bringing you everyday Dodger content. You're not going to find content like this anywhere else. We're the best Dodger channel out there, so make sure to hit the sub button. Let's get right into it. Tanner Scott. Tanner Scott, of course, he is the top free agent available right now when it comes to relief pitchers, and there is now reports that there is mutual interest between the Dodgers and Tanner Scott, and that is absolutely great news because the Dodgers missed out on Devin Williams. Devin Williams got traded to the New York Yankees, and he's off the table, right? We had reported on this channel just a couple days ago that Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic and of Fox Sports had reported that the Dodgers were going to get Tanner Scott or Devin Williams. Well, Devin Williams is gone. He was traded for Nestor Cortes, who, of course, as we know, gave up that famous home run to Freddie Freeman. Well, he's out of New York. No surprise there. His name will forever be remembered for the guy that gave up one of the biggest home runs in World Series history, as the Yankees went on to have one of the biggest choke jobs ever. But anyway, the Dodgers won the World Series. Cortes is out of New York, but the Yankees did get Devin Williams, which is not good at all. We don't want the Yankees getting good players. We know the Yankees are kind of building up. But the Dodgers are interested in Tanner Scott. That is the big news here. According to Robert Murray of the Baseball Insiders podcast, he went on a podcast. He was talking about what's going on with Tanner Scott. He said there's widespread interest in Tanner Scott, and the Dodgers are among the teams that are interested in Scott. This all comes from an article from DodgerBlue.com, especially with the Yankees seemingly not involved. Of course, they got, Devin Williams. He's saying, they could potentially put together a super bullpen, but he thinks that Scott is the pivot point here for the Dodgers. It makes a lot of sense. Of course, they got the funds to do it. The Dodgers, we always got the funds, right? I mean, we almost got Juan Soto. But anyway, we were closer probably than the Yankees in getting Juan Soto, which is absolutely insane if you think about it. I personally think, and I believe there was a couple insiders that kind of talked about this in the last couple days, the Dodgers and Mets were the two teams that it came down to most likely for Juan Soto, right? It doesn't seem like the Yankees were ever an option for Soto. He was angry at the front office, and he never even considered his own, the Yankees, right? Maybe the Dodgers would have picked up Soto. Who knows? But they ended up going to the Mets. Of course, ended up getting the biggest contract in sports history. But Tanner Scott and the Dodgers, it makes perfect sense, right? I mean, Tanner Scott, what a season he had last year, right? We had a 1.75 ERA across 72 innings. You got to remember, he started off the regular season with the Miami Marlins, and then he was traded to the San Diego Padres at the trade deadline. The Dodgers were very close to getting Tanner Scott, right? They really were trying to get Tanner Scott at the deadline. Now, let's not forget that. We even did a couple videos on that. I remember back in July, the Dodgers were heavily interested in Tanner Scott just a few months ago. So it makes sense that now that Tanner Scott is on the market as a free agent, he basically can go wherever he wants. The Dodgers are definitely interested in Tanner Scott. The question is, how much interest does Tanner Scott have to come to LA? I think he has to be interested, right? I mean, the Dodgers just won the World Series. They're the best option for Tanner Scott to go and win win a championship. He's never won a championship in his career, right? The Dodgers give him the best option to try to get a title in the 2025 season. He will be joining a team that's already very good. The Dodgers have the best bullpen in baseball. They proved it in the playoffs. They have the best bullpen from top to bottom. A bullpen, they had question marks in the regular season, in my opinion, but in the playoffs, they completely changed that and were absolutely amazing. They they held it down for the Dodgers, as we know, with the Dodgers being so limited in the starting pitching, right? Because the Dodgers, as we know, had a lot of injuries during the regular season and into the playoffs. And who was there to step it up? It was the bullpen. So Tanner Scott would be joining a team that's already stacked. Now, how much is it going to cost? Well, Tanner Scott is projected to get of course, MLB Trade Rumors projects it a 4-year, $56 million deal, where the Athletic is thinking he's going to get 4 years, $60 million, which for me, I think is a pretty good deal, right? I mean, I was saying the other day, I think $20 million a year would be what I would end up getting, right? 20 million, 20 times 4 ends up being 80 million, but they're projecting 4 years, 60 million. We'll see if that's the case, but it's going to probably take something around there, 60, 65 million guaranteed, maybe even 70, depending on how high the market goes for Tanner Scott, which could be pretty high because the guy had, insane stats. He even pitched good in the playoffs. Let's not forget, he only gave up a couple hits. He pitched in all the games basically against the Dodgers in the NLDS, and he only gave up a couple hits. He was lights out even in the playoffs against the eventual World Series champion Dodgers. So this guy is a proven reliever. He is a guy that I think is ready to join a winning team and ready to really, be a part of a great team, as we know, the Dodgers. And I really hope the Dodgers get this done, because the Dodgers, I think, really would like to get another reliever, right? I mean, why not? They have the money to do it. Why would you want Tanner Scott to go back to San Diego or even go to the Yankees? I mean, the Yankees already got Devin Williams, and we know their pitching's not very good, so they would love to get another pitcher just to add to their already, shaky pitching rotation and shaky bullpen, right? So they are going to be aggressive. They lost out on Soto, and that's what obviously is concerning as a Dodger fan if he decides to go to New York, because that will be another reliever to that team. And, we could see the Yankees again in the World Series. Let's not completely discount these guys, and that's going to be, an issue, right? If they have a big, a strong bullpen, and the Dodgers, we don't know. The Dodgers might not have as strong as a bullpen this year. The performances might not be as good, so you need to try to get another guy. The injuries, Tanner Scott, let's get him to LA. Hopefully it works out. So now let's talk a little bit about, there was Fat Joe talking. He went on the Carmelo Anthony podcast. You remember Carmelo Anthony, right? Former NBA player. He's talking about us, saying they won. They're cursing me out every chance they get a microphone. It's the craziest shit. Craziest shit, right? We don't have the FCC. We could say that, right? But anyway, it's just ridiculous, right? Kike Hernandez saying that Fat Joe isn't fat anymore as a joke. I think he's still pretty fat if you ask me. But anyway, it's just ridiculous. Fat Joe talking trash about the Dodgers. Then he went on to say that Ohtani is not as good as Soto. That's why Soto got more money. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. This guy is a sore loser. He obviously is rooting for a team that choked, one of the biggest choke jobs in baseball history, and now he can't shut his mouth up, which is ridiculous because they lost and we won. Ohtani's way better than Soto. Soto didn't get more money than Ohtani because he's a better player. That's ridiculous. It's just because Soto has Scott Boras, right? An absolute nutcase agent that gets these stupid deals for his players. That's why he got more money. But anyway, just forget about that guy. The Yankees are just a bunch of sore losers, and the Dodgers proved they are the best team in baseball last year in 2024, which is absolutely great. Winning the World Series in New York City, it doesn't get better than that. As always, make sure to subscribe, and let's go Dodgers. Woo!